Hello again and welcome to Caffè Fibonacci. I'm Tim Cole and this is my colleague Rufus Deutschler. You are.
Yeah.
He is. He absolutely is. I took him by surprise there. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're just going to be spending a lot of time on this thing they call the Internet. And the reason is that one of the more interesting new features, integration features in Creative Suite 4 is an integration of the Creative Suite applications with Acrobat.com.
Yep.
And this integration is going to enable people, whether you're using Photoshop or Illustrator or InDesign or Acrobat or some combination of those applications, to collaborate dynamically, interactively online.
Yep.
You'll be
with your clients, with your coworkers.
Yeah. And maybe you're sharing a word processing document via Buzzword. Maybe you're sharing your actual screen and even your documents and your applications via Acrobat Connect, okay? Or you're generating PDFs online or whatever. So we're going to walk through a scenario today that Rufus has put together, and just to show you what one possible scenario would be for collaborating using Creative Suite and Acrobat.com.
Okay. So right here, we're on Acrobat.com, and basically all you need to access these web applications on Acrobat.com is an Adobe ID. And the first time you want to go into any of these applications, you get asked for your Adobe ID or asked to sign up for a new one. And what we have here is access to 5 different areas of Acrobat.com. The first one is Buzzword, and Buzzword is a web text editor.
It's a web-based word processor, basically.
It's a totally a word processor. Connect Now allows you to share the screen with other users, so to show other people what you're actually doing on your computer, or even, and that's kind of crazy, isn't it, that I can actually work on your computer remotely.
Yeah, we're going to show that. Rufus is going to actually take control of my InDesign application.
Exactly. Well, now you have to ignore the fact that we're actually sitting right next to each other. Let's imagine that I'm back in Italy, and you're sitting in your home in Seattle, okay, and we're doing these things collaboratively online at a great distance. But before I go to Buzzword, I wanted to show also the other things you can do with Acrobat.com. For example, create PDFs from files that you have uploaded to Acrobat.com and share your files. And this is actually very interesting because instead of sending a 20 megabyte email, which annoys everyone, you can actually upload it to share and then decide who gets access to it and how. You can make it a public access for everyone who has the URL to get to your file, or decide that only certain users can access that file. So there is some level of privacy and limitation that you can apply to that. And then the possibility to view all the files that you're actually sharing and organize those files. But let's start in Buzzword. Once our application is open, I can open the document I was working on. And here I was working on a text document called Tigers for Tim. T for T. Tigers for Tim.
Okay, yeah, that was very good. Yeah, keep moving. Keep moving.
Anyway, now we're back here in Buzzword, and what you can see is that I can select everything. For example, I'm going to select all the text and choose another font, for example. Maybe a sans serif font, such as Myriad Pro, and change that inside of the window. I can change the point size. I can take certain words and make those bold, or italic, or underlined, or strike through. Okay, all these things that we're used to be able to do in a text editor. I can change the text color and the background color of the page as well.
I mean, this is not as robust and powerful as a word processing application you go out and buy and load on your computer, but it's a very robust web browser application for lightweight text editing tasks, especially if you have to collaborate.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't call it so much lightweight, because if we go investigate these other buttons here, we see that we have really, I mean, we have a lot of power on how we format our text. We can align the text left and right or centered. We can change the line spacing.
Okay. Whoa, not
wait,
that.
Wait.
Okay.
Right, okay.
I love Buzzword, but it's just,
okay.
I mean, I just want to set people's expectations. It is not like one of those other big, well-known word processors, like
the W one.
For example, the one with the big W. It's not that. It's a lighter weight, completely web browser based application, really ideally suited for this type of collaborative workflow.
Okay, just wait and see. Spacing above, spacing below, we can create numbered lists, bulleted lists, checklists, insert images, create tables, and insert annotations or comments inside of the text. But also, in the Insert menu, you will find out that we can put endnotes, for example, as well. So we can put notes inside of the text. Headers, footers, special characters, fields, like the document name, document author. Okay, all these things that allow you to automate your text file. And also what we have down here is the ability to look at the history of the document. And for example, we see that this document has been created today and that there is no long-standing history for that document. But as soon as I will pass it over to you, Tim, we will see that this history field actually gets populated with everything that is being done to that document. And also what we can do is look at spelling mistakes and correct those. We can have the words flagged and checked for spelling mistakes, and also the word count. Okay, and we can zoom in and zoom out of that document. Now,
which means that if we're writing to a fixed word count for like a text container in a layout, for example, if we have a target word count that we could use Buzzword to write to that word count.
That.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, all the basic tools I need to create a text document are in here in Adobe Buzzword. And now comes the interesting thing, because once I'm done working on that, I can obviously save it for my own purpose. But before I do that, I'm going to save it actually. I didn't make any changes, so I'm just going to share it with you, Tim. Okay? So, share. And what I'm going to do now is simply say Tim Cole, okay, and it remembers because I've been sending you documents before. And insert your email address, and this will actually connect my Buzzword document to your account. So the next time you enter Buzzword, your Buzzword room, you will have access to that document. I can also choose what...
so you're using an email address that's associated with my Adobe account, my Acrobat.com account.
The one you use for your Adobe ID.
Right, for my Adobe ID. So now that's how Acrobat.com knows to send that particular document to my particular space in Acrobat.com. Yeah.
And there I can also choose what you can do with the document. For example, if you're a co-author, you can actually change the text and format the text as you like. You can be just a reviewer, so just annotate the text, make like make comments, or just read the text. Okay, so there are these three levels of authorization I can give you. I can also choose to send you an email or not. And since I know that you open Buzzword frequently, I don't need to send you an email. You will just see that you have a document that you've never actually opened inside of Buzzword. Okay, so I'm going to simply say share that document. And this file is now ready to be shared with Tim Cole. We can actually see that we have this little icon down here, and I see that you have your avatar. Would you call that your avatar?
Avatar, yes.
Your avatar, and Tim Cole is the co-author, and I'm notified right here that you have never even opened the document yet. Okay, and here I can also choose to remove you. Okay, or change your status to reviewer or reader. Okay, so I have pretty much control over what this text does. So why don't you go and check your Buzzword account, Tim, and let us know what you find there.
So I have opened my Buzzword account, also known in the trade as getting my buzz on. I have my buzz on. I am looking in my Buzzword space on Acrobat.com, and you'll notice that it tracks things I viewed. So there's something I viewed last week. There's something I viewed earlier today, and then something I've never viewed, this document, Tigers for Tim, that Rufus has sent to me. So I just click on that little link, and now this opens up in Buzzword.
And now you're actually seeing the exact same document that I was preparing for you. And the interesting thing is, just before you continue here, is that if I do a correction here, you will see that my little avatar down there actually tells you that I'm now editing the document. And if you try to change the text, just start typing in it, what does it tell you?
It says that, unfortunately, I cannot edit this document right now because you're editing this document.
There you go. So this allows us to have a pretty safe workflow where I can edit the document and Tim can edit the document, but we can never do it at the same time.
Right. So it's not simultaneous. It's consecutive, and it means that one of us can have the document essentially checked out, make some changes, while the other one looks on, and then when you're done editing, it says you're done and you're just viewing it.
And all that with a web application.
That's great. So I'm looking at this now. This is, of course, as anyone can see, phony text. This is our standard lorem ipsum text, but that's okay. Just pretend with me that this is an actual article about hockey. And what Rufus has done is he's written to a word count, and he's given me a document that I'm going to put into an InDesign InDesign file. Now, what I could do, I could choose to go up to the document menu and export this text in a variety of formats. You see PDF, Microsoft Word, different versions of Microsoft Word, rich text, HTML, etc. But I'm going to use the lowest end way to do this. I am going to just select all the text and then copy it to the clipboard. Then I'm going to go over to InDesign, and here's a template that I'm just opened. I'm going to be working on laying out these pages using this text that Rufus sent to me. So I'm going to go in here and replace my template text with the text from Rufus. So I'm just going to delete the text that's already in there and then paste into InDesign, and then it comes in already styled because I had a default style applied to this the text in this text frame. And now what I'm going to do is just click an insertion point in the first paragraph, use InDesign's quick apply feature to apply my first paragraph style with a drop cap.
Awesome. Done already.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
That's amazing.
It's amazing what you can do with phony lorem ipsum text. How fast?
No, it's amazing what you can do with
go.
quick apply.
Well, that's also very true. Did we cover? We must have covered that in an earlier episode, didn't we? Okay, good. So here I've got my document, and I've, so let's just imagine that I have got a couple of articles entered here. We've collaborated so far on the text, but now what we want to do is work on the layout collaboratively. That's what we're going to do next using Acrobat Connect. So what I'm going to do is go up to InDesign 4's File menu, CS4's File menu, and there's this new command there called Share My Screen.
And this works in Illustrator, in Photoshop, in Acrobat, all of the applications in Creative Suite 4.
Yeah, so you can share your Photoshop, share your Illustrator, and actually give control over to someone else somewhere so they can actually edit the file while you guys watch it together and talk about it.
Okay, so now this is the address that people would have to connect to view your screen.
Yes.
And this address, you can email it to me, or just give me a call and tell it to me, or since
you can have it permanently on file. This is Tim's Connect room.
Yes, since Tim and I work this way very frequently, I have it in my bookmarks here. So let's just go to Adobe Tim here. It's connecting to Adobe Connect now, and it tells me the room is private. Can you please let me in?
I will accept your invitation to enter my private Connect room.
All right. And what I see now is Tim's Connect room. And what I can do is start my camera so Tim can actually see me.
I'll start my camera as well.
I'm going to allow the camera to work here. And here we are. Let's move my screen a little bit. Okay. And since we're collaborating, I say, hey, Tim, how are you? All right. Cool.
Good to see you.
Sunny in Florence. How is it in Seattle?
Rainy, of course.
Okay. So why don't you share your document with me?
Okay, so what I'm going to do is click on a button here on my Connect room called Share My Computer Screen. And what this is going to do is actually enable Rufus to not only see my screen, but I'm actually going to give him the ability to control it. So once I've got to this point, I'll switch back to InDesign, and now Rufus is seeing my InDesign layout on his screen.
Absolutely. So if you want to just close that Connect Now screen sharing window, or
I was going to give you
it away.
I was going to give you the power to because right now Rufus is just an observer, but I'm going to change his role to I'm going to actually give him. It says give this user control of my computer. Now, what kind of trust is that?
That's a lot of trust. I could do a lot of damage to your computer.
Yes, you could. So
from the other side of the world.
Please only connect with people that you know and trust. Don't connect with
Rufus.
Publishing strangers. Yeah. So, just a word to the wise. You are giving someone control over your application.
Yeah.
So, make sure you know them and you trust them and that you want them. You want them there. So I'm going to give Rufus control, and now he's controlling it. Hang on, let me minimize my little dialogue there, and now you've got control.
And on my screen, I see a little alert box that tells me that I am now in control of your screen. Okay, so I could go in here now and select these images, for example, let's just go in here and select these images and this one as well, and start moving them around.
And I'm watching him do this on my screen.
Let me select that again.
I have the text tool selected. That's why you're having a problem.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Tim, for leaving the text tool on. So let's go to his selection tool up here and start selecting these image frames. Okay? And on my screen, I actually see exactly what Tim is seeing on his screen. And I could decide, for example, to move these images up here in the corner, something like this. And since we can also go into chat mode here, I can say, Tim, what do you think about that? And send.
And I would say, I regret ever trusting you with my document. And some exclamation points there. And send.
Okay, so I'll continue working on your document. For example, changing the text. I'm going to select the headline up here. Let me go to the text tool and select the headline here. And change this to Tigers Win Big. Okay? And if I remember well, this text was black, so I can continue selecting that text. I can access all of your windows. For example, the swatches panel here, and select the black for this text and format that text using your InDesign. And let's change this headline over here as well. For example, Deutschler injured.
Or lizard.
Yep. Oh.
Injured.
Isn't that so cool that you can actually see what I'm doing right there in real time?
Even if it troubles me.
Very
I can see it all.
happy. Okay? So I'm actually changing these things inside of your InDesign
Now,
document.
by the way, you took control before I could send you my comment. There we go.
Okay. All right. I got your comment here. And then what I can do is, oh, now you see, this is interesting, Tim, because I don't actually have access to your menus here. I can't save, for example. Okay? So at that point, I will give it back to you and say, thanks for sharing, and send you that message. And then now you can actually release control. Or I can do that simply on clicking here, that button here, release control, and give the document back to you.
And I get an alert saying that my screen is no longer being controlled. And then I can select Rufus here and just remove this user from my meeting room. I've just kicked him out of my meeting room.
I'm no longer in your meeting room.
So now I'm going to close my little Connect Now screen sharing palette. There we go. And quit out of my Connect Now window, because now we've made our changes. We've discussed them and worked collaboratively here. We've done what we need to do. And now what I'm going to do is go into the next phase of the project, which is to generate a PDF and then share that PDF with you via Acrobat.
Yes.
Okay, I've made a few more edits in InDesign, and now I've created a PDF midway through my production process for review. And I'm in Acrobat now viewing this 2-page spread. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share this PDF document with Rufus now using Acrobat Share. So I'm going to go up to the little Collaborate drop-down menu there in Acrobat, and I'm going to choose this time Share Documents on Acrobat.com. And so what this is going to do is check my Adobe ID, verify that I've got the file I want to share, and now I need to associate this with Rufus. Rufus is Adobe ID.
And share it with me.
So now I get a little alert saying your document is now being shared on Acrobat.com. View your document. So I'm going to click on that link, and that takes me right to Acrobat.com, and it will show me where the file is that I just posted for Rufus. Right there, Tiger's PDF.
So I'll probably get an email from you saying that this file is available on
Yeah.
Share. Or I simply go to my Share account and log in and, using my Adobe ID, and I can see that your PDF is now here. And the other things I wanted to point out also in Share is that I can list the files alphabetically. I can list by author. For example, these are your PDFs right here, Tim Cole, okay, by time, but when they were made, these PDFs, by file type, by size, and by share status. The share status is the decisions you've taken as far as is the document public, available to anyone, or is it available only to me? Okay. So let's go.
By the way, just as a footnote, Acrobat Share is a great way to, like, for example, just share a bunch of photos with some people. If you're not using Photoshop Express and making a slideshow, if you want people to actually be able to download these images or whatever your files are, Acrobat Share is a great way to make things either available just to your addressees, people that you know, that you send an email to, or you can make them available to the entire world.
Exactly. So let's go back to the list by author, and I'm going to open the Tigers PDF. And what we see online right here in acrobat.com is that I can actually view the PDF page. I can zoom into it. I can also choose how the pages react here. Are they continuous? Are they side by side? But in this case, it doesn't really matter because you just sent me one spread. At that point, if I want to start editing or annotating that PDF, what I really need to do is to download that PDF. Okay, so I'm going to download the PDF by clicking the button up there, and I'm going to save the file, say OK, and the file is already here. Double-click on it, and this will now open inside of Acrobat. And what I can do now is start commenting on that PDF. For example, if I use the commenting tools here, I can add a sticky note and say, that's a good title. Okay, for example, I'm going to put that up here and annotate that. And when I save it, I can share these annotations back to you. Or I can send it back to acrobat.com so we can work collaboratively on it together.
On the PDF together in Acrobat.
Together in Acrobat. So to do that, I'm simply going to click the Collaborate button and use this Send and Collaborate Live. Okay? And what this does, it will upload the document on acrobat.com. It will initiate a live chat session and share page views. Okay, so when I change the page view, it'll change the page view for you as well. Okay, so let's say next. It's authenticating my Adobe ID on acrobat.com. It's communicating. I'm going to overwrite the existing file that I already had there. I'm going to put your email address. And more importantly, what I'm going to do is to store the file on acrobat.com, okay? Because that's important, because this allows me now to also decide the access level that I grant to the document. And for example, in this case, what I'm going to say is I'm going to give limited access only to the person that will have that email in their Adobe ID credentials, okay? So I'm going to limit the access and send the document. And what this does is actually send your shared account and the information that the PDF is now available for you to review. Okay, it's now uploading the file, and the email was sent successfully. Okay, and now when you go into your into Share, you should actually see my PDF document.
Okay, so what I've got here in my files on acrobat.com is the PDF that we're sharing, but notice it's appended with the word collab, the abbreviation collab. So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to give me an alert, and I'm going to choose to download this. And that will then open this file in Adobe Acrobat. And there it is. I'm going to sign in to Collaborate Live. So now Rufus and I are sharing the same PDF file.
And here you are, Tim Cole. Your avatar just appeared. Okay, and now what we can do is look at the same PDF file. And for example, if I zoom in here, let's go here to the Tigers win big, something like this. And I'm going to start page sharing with you. Okay. What this will do is that you will be invited to share the page. And as you can see, your screen just zoomed into the area that I've been zooming in. Okay. And then we can also start chatting about it and say, Tim, what do you think of the headline? Okay, and I'm going to send that message.
I love the name of this little panel, Document Chat.
The document chat. We're chatting about the document. Okay? So there you can answer to me. We can also use other annotation tools. For example, if I add a sticky note here and maybe put it here, Tim actually sees, oops, I'm going to zoom out back here. Actually, Tim actually sees all the movement I'm doing on that page. So when I zoom into this area here, it'll zoom in Tim's screen as well. Okay? So we'll always be talking about the same exact thing. So that's also a way to collaborate. I mean, you know, we've been using Buzzword for me to edit text and to send it to you. We've been sharing an InDesign document that I've been working on, but on your machine. And now you've been sharing a PDF with me, and I've created this this collaboration workflow so that we can see, look at the same areas of the PDF that I'm talking about. So these are all things that maybe we won't be using all of these together. Okay? For example, one thing that I could imagine using a lot is the ability to actually go into your InDesign document and make changes. Okay? And maybe even write in there, or just like I did, to change the headlines and move images and things like that, or import images from your drive to create the layout, and then also talk about the PDFs just like we did now. And one last thing I think we need to do is to create a PDF portfolio with all the elements that we actually used to make that that layout. And that includes maybe images and fonts and the InDesign document itself and the final PDF.
Yeah, because that's a new feature in Acrobat 9, is the ability to create a portfolio, which is really all you're doing is you're gluing a bunch of different files and file types together in a PDF container and sending it as one big PDF package.
Yes, and it's way more useful than just a zipped file. Okay, because it's a container, yes, but I can navigate inside of that container. So let's look at your final PDF and put that inside of a PDF portfolio.
So I'm going to go up into Acrobat under the File menu and choose Create PDF Portfolio. And what that does is basically creates the empty PDF container for me. So now I'm going to go back to Bridge, and gathering the content and dropping into Portfolio is literally just drag and drop. So here's my InDesign package that I created. Then here's the PDF that I want to use. So I'm going to just pick those two up, switch to Acrobat, and drop them into this portfolio document. And once they're in there, I have options on how I want these items to behave once they're in the PDF portfolio. Okay? But now this is a portfolio package that I am going to upload to Adobe Share, and Rufus will have access to it because I will share it with him.
Can you show us the content of the folder?
Sure. I will open up the contents of the package. Look at that. Here's all the links.
Okay.
Both of the images.
The images, okay. And if we go back into the spreads, one thing I wanted to point out, if you go in the fonts folder,
this is really cool.
It's kind of interesting how you can see how these fonts actually look.
This is really cool. It's a nice preview of the actual fonts that are traveling with this InDesign document.
There's many more things that we can actually personalize with the PDF portfolios. Like we can have a presentation page. We can also add flash animation inside of PDF portfolios and in Acrobat 9. And so make that a very personalized experience. And it's kind of cool for two things, actually. One is for archiving, just like you did right there, putting all the information inside of a PDF and into a compact little file that can be shared with other people. But also, if you have many images or documents or PDF documents or Word documents, for example, if you go back into the spread folder there and look at the text file, for example, there you go, double-click on it, we actually can look at the text file without having to open a text editor. And that also works with Word documents. And so I don't necessarily have to have Word on my computer to be able to preview the content of the file inside of Acrobat. And the other thing also is, like I said, to create PDF portfolios for clients to show them different versions of work, and you can change the colors. You can really personalize the aspect of a PDF portfolio, making it a very compelling way to communicate your ideas. And with that, Tim, I think we've gone through all that collaboration. I mean, we've only touched the tip of the iceberg here, but what we wanted to show in this episode is really that there are tools out there. They're ready and they're free. And for example, Buzzword and all the Acrobat.com services that are available to our users with an Adobe ID. And then all these possibilities that we have to share our documents, our screens, our ideas. It completely changes the way we work.
Yeah, it's a nice integration, and so hopefully everybody out there will now feel empowered to experiment with this and take advantage of it with Buzzword, with Share, and I really like the Share My Screen aspect with
awesome.
With all the Creative Suite 4 apps. So there you go. That's just really a quick introduction to what we're doing with Acrobat.com in CS4. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next time on Caffè Fibonacci.
Okay, bye.